Yeah, I've lived in this area my entire life, within about maybe 2 or 3 miles of this particular spot, and I never knew that this place existed. Never been here before. I mean, I've probably walked past it. There's a footpath maybe, I don't know, 50 yards away, if that. But yeah, never knew this was here. It looks like it's been carved out mostly by dog walkers, you know, motorcycle thieves, things like that. It's lovely though, I feel perfectly safe. Send help. So today I've come out for a walk. We had some frost. It looked awesome this morning, but I got up late and I missed the fog, which was a pain in the behind, but never mind. We're out here anyway, and I want to talk about this little beautiful thing again, the Canon Powershot G10. I've made videos about it before. I'm not going to go running through specs and stuff. I did that mostly in that video up there, but no, I want to talk about this from a real world use point of view. I've been using this now for maybe, I don't know, maybe 6 months, something like that. And I still love it. It's a brilliant camera, and it's kind of unique in terms of its resolution, because throughout the entire G lineup, this, even though it sits kind of in the middle of the lineup, has the highest resolution of them all. Now, we know resolution isn't everything, but it does afford you a little bit of cropping power. Now, apparently the reason they changed it around and started dialing back the resolution was to improve low light capability. These things have tiny, tiny sensors, but honestly, well, that's not unsettling at all, is it? It's terrifying. So yeah, these things have tiny sensors in them, so it's not the type of camera that I would use in the dark anyway. And by like low light, I mean like a high ISO. This thing, above 400, it kind of starts to look a bit nasty, but if you're going to stick it on a tripod and do some long exposures, it's perfectly fine. Now, the benefit of having that extra little bit of resolution is cropping power mainly. I mean, let's face it, if you are a shooter who only posts to social media, shares with your friends, maybe even does these videos, you don't need a lot of resolution. Even in 4K on a YouTube video, you need what, 8 megapixels if you're going to fill the entire screen. It's not a lot, and like I said, this comes in at 14.7 megapixels, so you can practically crop out half of this image and still end up with something usable. Now, going back to social media, things like Instagram and Facebook, etc., they have about a 2 megapixel size when they're uploaded there. The compression is horrendous. So again, 14 megapixels or 14.7 megapixels gives you a ton of wiggle room for cropping. So again, a camera like this for social media, absolutely fantastic. And it has that CCD sensor in it, which produces lovely color renderings that I particularly like. Now, I'm not saying the G10 is going to outdo your Sony A7R5 or whatever number we're up to at this point. It's not. It's not that type of camera. It's not for that type of thing. But it's a fun camera that actually fits in your pocket. The battery lasts a hell of a long time. I shot an entire day with it in the summer, and only towards the end of the day did I lose the battery, and I don't know, I was maybe like 800 shots deep, something like that. It was ridiculous. It's a great little thing. Now, this camera is the only camera that I own that I will use in any of the auto modes. Generally speaking, my go-to is to shoot in manual with autofocus, and I just control everything. Partly me being a control freak, but partly because from my experience, a lot of the other cameras that don't do as well as this does with the auto settings. Now, this one, I'll dump it in program auto, 80 ISO, and either 1/3 or 2/3 under with the exposure compensation. That guarantees my highlights are going to be safe, and I can then just concentrate on shooting. And that, I think, is one of the really big benefits of a little camera like this. Now, another one of the huge benefits of a little camera like this is the fact that it's actually pocketable, even in skinny jeans. And that's great. I love that kind of thing because I know full well that that discretion that I get from this camera allows me to shoot things that I wouldn't normally shoot on the streets, like pulling out a big old DSLR with a great big lens on it. People are going to notice you immediately. With this thing, you can slide it out in your pocket, hit that button on the top, and you're all ready to shoot because, again, I'm shooting in program auto. So this is awesome. If you're a little bit nervous when you're shooting street, you don't want to draw attention to yourself, this is the perfect type of camera for you. So one of the things I get asked on these G10 videos specifically quite a lot is, how does it compare to the likes of the G16, the G12, etc.? Simple answer, I don't know. I've not used those cameras, but what I will say is, because of what they did with the resolution on this camera, they went slightly gradually up to this camera and then came back down again to improve the low light performance. I would suggest that based on that, if you're going to get this type of camera for low light, buy one that's newer than this one, so the G11 onwards. If you just want that CCD sensor and that cool look, buy one of the other ones. Simple as that. So I don't know if you know, but I don't only shoot street. In fact, street is relatively new to me. I've only been shooting street for about 18 months. For the previous 10 years or so, I was doing landscapes, seascapes, nature stuff, macro, all of that kind of business. I've already seen a fox and some birds and such as that, and I know that in this area behind me, that's the site of an old hospital, and I've already seen deer in there on a previous occasion. So I'm going to head over that bridge, I'm going to walk that way, and I'm going to see if I can get close enough to get a shot of the deer if they show themselves. This camera has a 28-140 lens on it, so while it's not exactly like a mega telephoto, if I can get close enough, I might get something. Let's go find out. I've just put you on top of the Canon Powershot G10 so you can see what I can see, because just over there are those deer I was talking about earlier on. Now I'm going to use the long end of this zoom to try and get a shot, but they've already seen me, so they're probably going to scarper as soon as I get anywhere near them. But I'm going to take it nice and slow and hopefully get a shot. At 140 mil, that might as well be 3,000 miles away. It's tiny in the frame. I'm going to try and sneak a little bit closer, but I expect these guys are going to bolt the second they see me getting too close. No, and they're off with the little white fluffy bums bouncing around. So I recently did a video about photography on a budget, and this camera, this Powershot G10, fits perfectly into that category. I got this fairly cheap because it had a damaged screen. I paid £47 for it. Average price seems to be around the sort of £80 to £100 mark in the UK. In good light and in, I don't know, ISOs up to 400. If you're going to be on a tripod, not a problem. You're going to get some nice images with this thing. And again, if you're only shooting for the socials, don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. So if you got anything from this video, if it was helpful, moderately entertaining, any of those things, please do hit the like button. Helps out the video and the channel immensely, and I'll see you in the next one.